You hear the term financial freedom thrown around all the time, right? But are we actually on the right path to get there? See, we're all taught to follow this one safe, clear road to success. But what if that road is actually a dead end? Today, we're going to explore a completely different journey to what a truly free life looks like.
So let me ask you this right up front. Think about the path you're on right now. Is it actually leading you to freedom, or is it more like a golden cage? You know, it looks great on the outside, all security and prestige, but at the end of the day, it's still a cage. That's the real question we need to dig into.
All right, so let's take a closer look at this cage. This is the path most of us are pushed towards, right? It's the one that sounds so logical, so secure. We're calling this Path 1, the Golden Cage. And I bet this next part looks super familiar. It's the standard playbook, isn't it? First, you get into an elite college. Then, of course, that means taking on a massive student loan. Step 3, you land that high-paying job to start chipping away at the debt. And finally, you start that long, slow climb up the corporate ladder.
Now that second step, the loan, that's the real anchor here. Just to put it in perspective, for a top-tier post-grad degree in India, you could easily be looking at a debt of around 25 lakh rupees. And let's be real, that's not just a loan, it's a chain. It's what ties you to that high-paying job and makes it feel almost impossible to even think about doing something different.
You know, the promise of this path is so compelling. On the one hand, you get security, you get prestige, you get a nice, clear roadmap for your life. But then there's the reality. And the reality is years and years of debt, crazy pressure, endless corporate politics, and almost zero real autonomy. You basically become a cog in this giant machine. And the price you pay to get in, well, it's your freedom.
Okay, so is there a way out of the cage? Well, what if there is? There's another path. It's a lot less certain for sure. Let's call this one Path 2, the uncharted territory. And yep, we're talking about entrepreneurship.
Now, let's just be honest here. The first thing that pops into your head is the risk, right? I mean, the stats are pretty brutal. Something like 90% of new startups fail. That is a seriously scary number, and it's exactly why most people just stick to the quote-unquote safe path. But here's the flip side. What about that other 10%? Well, that's where real, scalable freedom gets built. We're talking freedom of your time, freedom of your money, freedom of choice. Look, the risk is absolutely high, but the potential reward, it's a completely different kind of life.
So, how on earth do you deal with that kind of risk? Well, the strategy here is all about de-risking the whole thing. Check out this idea. Instead of betting your entire life savings on one single big idea, you start small. Try out, say, 10 different ideas, but with just a tiny bit of money each. Think about it. If the failure rate is 90%, then basic math tells you one of those 10 ideas is probably going to work. It's not about gambling, it's about smart, intelligent experimentation.
Okay, so if there's a logical way to make this path less risky, why don't more people do it? What's stopping them? Well, it turns out the biggest hurdle isn't the scary failure rate, and it's not even a lack of money. The real barrier, it's inside our own minds. It all comes down to this really powerful thing called conditioning. I mean, think about it. From the time we're kids, from school, from our families, from society in general, we're basically programmed with one definition of success, one safe way to do things. And because of that programming, we end up seeing risk in all the wrong places. Because here's the thing we get wrong. The biggest risk you'll ever face in your career isn't failing at something new.
It's getting stuck in the wrong race altogether. It's spending 20, 30 years of your life climbing a ladder, only to get to the very top and realize it was leaning against the wrong wall the whole time. Now that is a risk we don't talk about nearly enough.
And that's why the crucial point here is that the real enemy isn't something out there. It's your own mindset. It's that internal battle against the conditioning that tells you there's only one way and that you should fear everything else.
So what are we supposed to do? It's not about this impossible choice between the cage and the scary unknown. There's actually a third path, a really practical, actionable way forward that kind of combines the best of both worlds. And here's what that hybrid model looks like. It's simple, really. You keep your traditional job for what it's good at. Stability, a steady paycheck, to pay the bills. But then you use your free time, your weekends, your evenings, for experimenting, for pursuing a passion. Basically, your day job funds your present, while your side venture is busy building your future freedom.
And as you start building that future, it's so important to remember that true freedom, well, it isn't just about the money. It's really about 4 key things. First, your health. I mean, without that, nothing else matters, right? You're a prisoner in your own body. Then, smart wealth management. It's not just about what you earn, it's about what you do with it. Third, healthy relationships, because those are the people who lift you up. And finally, passion, just having the ability to spend your time doing something you actually love.
So here's what it all boils down to. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You don't have to bet your life savings on some crazy idea. The journey really just begins with a shift in your mindset and one single, small action. Your path to freedom can literally start today. So let me leave you with this question. What's your first step going to be?